Welcome to This Explainer. I'm super excited about this one because we're going to completely change the way you listen to music. Today, we're taking the human voice and looking at it not as some mystical, untouchable artistry, but as a seriously fascinating feat of biomechanical engineering. We're literally breaking down the exact step-by-step systems that create historic vocalists.
So let's dive right in by confronting a pretty common instinct we all have, attributing a historic vocalist's success entirely to raw, unexplainable talent. I mean, when we hear a mind-blowing high note or a perfectly executed run, it feels like magic, right? We just naturally want to believe these stars were born with a gift that the rest of us simply lack. But as we're about to see, that explanation is actually completely incomplete.
It is so easy to fall for the myth of the natural, that raw, unexplainable magic. But the objective reality is way more complex and honestly a lot more interesting. High-level singing ability isn't just a single magical variable. It's a strict result of interacting systems. We're talking a biological predisposition, intense early conditioning, cultural context, relentless feedback loops, and an almost superhuman volume of repetition. It's compounded advantages interacting over a long period of time.
To really get a grip on this, let's look at Section 1, the Michael Jackson Blueprint. Just take a look at the timeline of Jackson's early immersion. He didn't learn to sing the way most adults do. He was completely immersed in it before cognitive resistance even had a chance to develop. He began performing at age 5. And under the extreme rehearsal discipline enforced by his father, he accumulated massive hours of daily repetition long before he even hit adolescence. Because of that, his neural pathways for pitch, timing, and vocal control were hardwired incredibly early. Mistakes were corrected immediately in this super tight feedback loop, which made his stage performance an automatic baseline rather than just an acquired skill. Now, obviously, biology sets the baseline, and Jackson's instrument had statistically rare properties. He possessed this high tenor range that retained a really unique childlike clarity, right alongside exceptional breath control and rapid vocal agility. But what made his biology a true outlier was his distinct timbral identity. His voice combined technical precision with an instantly recognizable emotional character. You hear literally half a second of audio, and boom, you immediately know it's him. And that biomechanical edge, it completely fueled his rhythmic advantage. He treated his voice like a percussion instrument. Those iconic grunts, the breath hits, the hee-hees, they weren't just random ad-libs. They were deliberate micro-rhythmic markers deeply linked to his roots in funk and soul music. While most singers simply follow the rhythm of a backing track, Jackson actually generated rhythm. His voice was the driver of the whole track. But being amazing live was really only half the equation. In the studio with producers like Quincy Jones, the process was way closer to cold, hard engineering than some free-flowing jam session. He would record dozens of takes, refining individual syllables, manually building harmonies layer by layer, and calibrating the exact emotional resonance of every single line. It's just a staggering level of studio discipline required for objective mastery. This meant his delivery felt deeply emotional precisely because he deliberately encoded micro-expressions right into the sound itself. Think about it like this. Marlon Brando totally revolutionized acting by introducing gritty psychological realism. Well, Jackson did the exact same thing for vocal performance. Every breath, every vibrato, every tone shift was planned. He wasn't just singing the lyrics, he was acting through the voice. Now, we absolutely must acknowledge the environment that forged all this. His upbringing introduced immense psychological pressure, performance anxiety, and a deep, deep desire for approval. And while that's not romantic at all, examining it purely structurally reveals a massive feedback loop. Pressure forces obsessive refinement. Obsessive refinement demands repetition, and that repetition yields mastery. It's a harsh but completely undeniable form of structural conditioning. Let's broaden our view a bit for Section 2, Hidden Variables Behind Great Singers. Just look at that number. Thousands. If you follow established skill acquisition models, elite singers don't just practice every now and then. They accumulate thousands of hours of high-frequency, feedback-rich practice long before they become adults. It is the sheer volume of early repetition that builds the foundation for everything else. We get to hear the beautiful musical output, the incredible endurance, the perfect pitch, the flawless breath control. But the biomechanical source behind it, that is pure muscular conditioning. It's highly tuned vocal cord coordination and massive diaphragm strength. Top-tier vocalists literally have to train exactly like elite athletes. It is a deeply, deeply physical process. Okay, let's put this framework to the test in Section 3, comparing other elite vocalists. Mapping this out is super revealing because it shows how different cultural environments shape entirely different optimization strategies. Whitney Houston's gospel upbringing gave her real-time feedback that forged her unbelievable diaphragm control and emotional explosiveness. Freddie Mercury took a massive vocal range and applied an operatic influence, essentially treating singing as theatrical architecture. Beyoncé represents the modern optimization of the Michael Jackson model, intense early training combined with extreme physical stamina. And Aretha Franklin, she leveraged her church roots to master improvisation, which gave her that undeniable emotional authority. So you have different genres, different intents, but the exact same foundational mechanics of mastery at work.
But what happens when we flip the script? That brings us to Section 4, the Sean Combs contrast.
When we look at Sean Diddy Combs, we see a completely different optimization strategy. Diddy is definitely not known for his elite singing ability. So why is he such a monumental figure in the industry? Because instead of optimizing vocal cords and biomechanics, he optimized the systems around the artists, the production, and market positioning. His mastery lies entirely in business intelligence, branding strategy, and aggregating top-tier talent.
And that highlights a pretty cold reality of the industry. Monumental success in music does not strictly equal vocal excellence. Diddy optimized networks, timing, and cultural trends. It proves that while elite singing is an incredible biomechanical feat, it's for sure not the only prerequisite for massive commercial success. Which leads us to our final takeaway in Section 5, the vocal excellence equation. Throughout this whole explainer, we've been teasing the existence of a strict system, and it all culminates in this undeniable truth. Great singers are never accidents. They are the result of compounding advantages that interact, stack, and multiply over years and years of effort. Here it is, the final undeniable formula. Biology sets the limits. Repetition builds the control. Feedback refines the accuracy. Environment shapes the style. And intent drives the intensity. The reason Michael Jackson stands as our ultimate case study today is that he simply scored at extreme levels on every single one of these variables simultaneously. Most artists might excel in one or two. The historic legends max out the entire equation. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to take a screenshot of that equation. Really, apply it to your own life, your own career, your own skills. Biology, repetition, feedback, environment, intent. Which of those interacting systems are you currently overlooking? And which one do you need to optimize next to reach your own level of mastery? Definitely something to think about.